Hello and welcome to the Shop of Joy, the podcast that celebrates the heart and soul of retail. Whether you're serving on the shop floor, leading a team, or simply someone who loves a brilliant customer moment, this space is for you. Each episode will explore how to turn your store into a joyful place for your customers, your colleagues, and just as importantly, yourself. So today's episode is all about first impressions, all about those first 7 seconds when a customer walks into your store. See, in retail, the first impression happens really, really fast. So, in fact, science actually tells us 7 seconds is the time it takes for a customer to make a judgment on your shop. But what is actually happening in those 7 seconds? Well, psychologically, your brain is scanning for 3 things in the 7 seconds. Number 1, am I welcome here? Right? This is an emotional and a gut level response. Number 2, do I feel safe and do I feel respected when I've walked into the shop? It's not just physical, it's a social thing as well. And then number 3, is this going to be an easy experience or is this going to be a difficult experience? So if you can give an incredible experience within those first 7 seconds, all of those customers' boxes will be ticked. Yes, they'll feel welcome there. Yes, that customer will feel safe and respected. And yes, this is going to be an enjoyable, easy experience. But what to do in those first 7 seconds? Well, there's a lot of things you can do to create an incredible customer experience in 7 seconds. And we're going to go through a few of them today. Number 1 is something that I like to call the pattern interrupt. Now, the pattern interrupt is a really, really powerful way of capturing a customer's attention. See, anytime you go into a retail store, you have a preconceived notion of what the greeting is going to be in that store. So, for instance, if I go into a car sales or car dealership, in my head, I always think that I'm going to get the hard sell. I'm going to get somebody jumping down my throat. I'm not going to be left alone. And I'm going to be having somebody follow me around the whole time I'm in the shop. Now, this may or may not be the case, but I have a preconceived notion of what to expect based on previous experience in that shop. For instance, when I walk into a jewelry shop, I always think that I'm going to be greeted by people standing there, hands behind their back, watching you. There might be a security guard on the door making you feel slightly awkward. It's going to be a very, very quiet atmosphere in there, and I'm not going to feel like I can touch and engage with the product. When I go into a furniture shop, I'm expecting people to be probably sat behind desks, typing away on their laptops. You maybe get a look up and a hello if you're lucky. And then I'm expecting to hear my footprints echoing around the shop floor. So this is certainly not always the case, but this is what customers have in their mind when they're walking into a store, what to expect. It's a natural thing to expect a certain type of experience from a store. So how can we change that? How can we make an incredible customer experience based on what customers are actually expecting? Well, we need to do something called the pattern interrupt. Now, a pattern interrupt is completely doing something that the customer is not expecting in order to shake them out of their mental thought pattern. So, for instance, the best pattern interrupt, my personal favorite pattern interrupt, is just simply asking the customer's name and introducing yourself by name when you walk in. How many times have you been into a shop and they've actually asked your name and they've introduced themselves as soon as you walk in the shop? Very, very, very rarely. Now, this is a powerful, powerful way to interrupt the customer's natural patterns. Another way is to start talking to, they've got a little child there, start talking to the child when they walk in. Another way is to tell them a random fact about the shop that they've walked in that's going to surprise and delight them. Another one might be to put a drink in their hand, give them a bottle of water. There's many, many ways to pattern interrupt. But think about what your industry is doing. Think about any time the customer walks into somewhere that is in your industry, what will they expect and what is the rest of your industry doing? Then the best thing to do the complete opposite of that. You're going to interrupt the pattern, you're going to snap the customer into attention, and you're going to create a really, really memorable experience for the customer. All right, the next thing to do within 7 seconds, the greeting. So how are you going to greet this customer when they've walked in? So a compliment always goes a really, really long way. Find something to compliment about the customer. Make sure it's genuine as well. And also make sure it's not creepy. So don't comment on the customer's personal physical appearance, of course. But if they've got a really nice pair of shoes on, if you're into shoes and you've got something to talk about with shoes, fantastic. You like the customer's jacket, anything like that. Find something to compliment about the customer to get them into conversation. The other thing you can do, so another really, really powerful thing you can do, is ask the customer questions. So we're going to talk in another episode, we're going to talk a little bit about open questions and how you can use open questions. A very, very powerful tool for creating an incredible customer experience. But if you ask a question as soon as the customer walks in, and you ask an open question as soon as the customer walks in, then that customer instantly is going to be engaging with you. So you ask something like, what brought you in today? Something simple as that. It opens a door so wide for much, much more conversation. Now, I always recommend that every sales team member has about 10 open questions in their back pocket related to the industry that they are working in. So, for instance, if you're working in furniture, one of the open questions could be, what room are you looking to furnish? It could be, who lives in the house with you? It could be, what specific style of sofa are you looking at? There's 10 open questions. Pick 3 and start the customer journey with those open questions. Okay, when we're talking about greeting, it's quite powerful to stop for a minute and focus on the hierarchy of greeting. There's so many places that I have seen working in retail for over 18 years that get this absolutely wrong. Now, what I mean by the hierarchy of greeting is when a customer walks into the shop, they are the top of your hierarchy. They have got off the sofa, got on a train or a bus, walked into the shop, spent money on travel, taken an hour out to be with you. They are your top priority, okay? But then you've got your phone call customers, you've got live chat customers, and you've got email customers as well. So which ones go in the hierarchy? Well, okay, so the least important, I don't like to say least important because no customers aren't important, but the least important customers are the ones that email. So email, they take least priority. Then customers that are on your live chat system, then customers that phone in, and then finally the most important are the customers that are in store. So how this works is if a customer walks into store and you're doing emails, that laptop gets closed and the customer gets greeted straight away. If the customer walks into store and you're on live chat, you message the person that's on live chat and just say, I'll be right back. And then you speak to the customer and you serve the customer and you speak to the customer while you're doing live chat and you tell the customer that's walked in, I'm just having a conversation with the customer on live chat. I'll be with you in 1 minute. Then if a customer calls up on the phone and the customer walks in, you simply look at the customer that walks in, put your hand over the receiver and say, I'll be with you within a couple of minutes. And then finally, if any of these things happen and another customer walks into store where you're serving an in-store customer, you still need to make sure that that customer gets greeted. So you still go over, nod, welcome them into store and just say, I'm with a customer at the moment. I'll be with you shortly. So at no point should ever a customer walk into store and not be greeted within 7 seconds, whatever you are doing. Okay, I also want to talk about getting the team involved in the greeting. Now, when you walk into a restaurant and there's a great atmosphere in the restaurant. It feels like there's a bit of a party atmosphere in the restaurant. You're much, much more inclined to stay in that restaurant. The waiters are laughing and joking with each other. Maybe the chef comes out to see what's going on. You get sat. The waiter's having a laugh and joke with you as he's having a laugh and joke with his colleagues. Everybody's joining in. It feels like a convivial atmosphere. This is what retail should feel like. So don't be afraid to have a laugh and a joke with your colleagues, but make sure the customer is included in that situation, and that is going to make the customer feel really, really welcome into part of your club, part of your group. And this is really, really powerful. There's a big difference, right, in between you having a conversation with your colleagues and ignoring the customer, to when a customer walks in, starting speaking to a customer, and then another colleague comes over and starts speaking to the both of you as well, and creating this fun and this joy. Big difference. So make sure you focus on getting that absolutely right when you're training that with your sales team. So 7 seconds. You've got 7 seconds when a customer walks in. And these are the things, just to recap, these are the things that you can do within those 7 seconds. So you can interrupt, so you can pattern interrupt. Remember, customer walks in and whoosh, you need to find a way to change what their preconceived notions of what that shop is going to be all about. Then you do a fantastic greeting, not behind the laptop. You maybe pay them a compliment. Then you ask their name, right? And you introduce yourself by name. A name is the most powerful thing that you own. It's in fact the only thing that you truly own without getting too deep on the topic. Then you've got open questions. We discussed open questions. Figure out the open questions that you should be asking all of your customers. And then we discussed the hierarchy of the greeting, right? So in-store first, then on phone, then live chat, and then the lowest in the hierarchy is the email. And then make sure you get the team involved where possible to create a convivial, a party atmosphere in store and make your customers feel truly, truly welcome. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. That was the 7-second rule, all about how you can create a fantastic customer experience within 7 seconds. And I'll see you soon on the Shop of Joy.